If one travels through one of the hottest places on Earth, a place infamous for its barren, scalding landscapes, and stumbles across the largest body of water one had ever seen, what would that person think? What do you think they would think if you told them that that body of water was man-made? That would be Lake Mead. Stretching for 120 miles, with a maximum water volume of 26 million acre-feet, with a 750-mile shoreline that touches narrow canyons, flat basins, coves, and geologic monoliths. Lake Mead is America's largest reservoir, and the first national recreation area. Located almost entirely along the Nevada-Arizona state line, the Lake Mead National Recreation Area is a great place in the Southwest for boating, fishing, camping, hiking, and off-road activities.
The clear waters of Lake Mead have opened up a vast new recreational fish and wildlife vacation land for America. Millions beat paths to this one-time wilderness along the Colorado River to picnic, go boating, swim, fish, and enjoy these important outdoor reclamation products.
The first place you want to visit when you stop at Lake Mead is the Allen Bible Visitor Center. It is located just west of the Hoover Dam near Boulder, off of Great Basin Highway and Lakeshore Drive, which is one of the main roads in the NRA. Like most larger visitor centers, it functions as a hybrid of an information center and a museum. Here you can learn about Lake Mead's history, natural habitat, geology, and the surrounding area. You can also get the information you need about watercraft rentals and protocols, as well as hiking maps for the trails within the park. Many areas of the NRA require an entrance fee to access, such as Hemingway Marina and the main roads of North Shore and Lakeshore Drives. Some areas, however, do not require a fee, so this is a park where an NPS yearly pass is strongly recommended. Wow. Look at that. The water went down so much that it created this little mini lake. Like a little peninsula lake. Well, it's not even a peninsula lake. It's cut off from the rest of Lake Mead. And all this stuff that was probably floating about 40, 50 feet above water a few years ago is now sitting at the bottom. Boating regulations. Wow, man, this is a travesty. I think they're pumping the water out of here, maybe? I don't know what they're doing. Hey, look. This is the channel that was cut off. You can tell they did a little bit of dredging work here, but it didn't really matter. And this is Lake Mead. Water stinks over here. Kind of looks like Mars out there. Unfortunately, the upper Colorado River Basin, where the waters of the lake originate, is in the midst of a super drought which has lasted for the past 25 years with no signs of improvement. This reduction in snowfall in the Rockies means less runoff, which equates to less water heading downstream. It also doesn't help that more water is being pumped from the Colorado for human use and agriculture. Both of these combined have drastically reduced Lake Mead's water levels to record new lows. Because of this, several marinas have closed and water recreation on the lake has been affected. But this also means things long hidden are being revealed once more. And the old Mormon town of St. Thomas is the biggest example of this. Founded in 1865 by LDS settlers under the directive of Brigham Young, it was intended to become a Mormon utopia free from government oversight. It also became the county seat of the short-lived Piute County, which has since become known as Arizona's Lost County due to much of the land becoming what is now Clark County, Nevada. In 1867, the federal government shifted Nevada's borders eastward to the 114th meridian, giving the state its current shape. Because of this, Nevada now demanded that the Mormons living there pay back taxes in gold. Refusing to give up their wealth, they left in 1871 for Utah. But it wasn't long before people returned to the town and resettled it. In the 1900s, St. Thomas had a population of around 200 people and even had a train station. However, fate would have different plans in store. Because St. Thomas is located in a valley upstream from the confluence of the Virgin and Colorado rivers, it was in the sights of the rising waters of the new Lake Mead. The town is located in the far northern part of the NRA and not far from the famous Red Rock Canyon State Park. The turn to get to it is actually right next to the northern entrance station.
Just all these little rocks on the road, man. I hate it. Metal detectors prohibited. The hell? Just a little interesting thing that I just picked up on right now. So I drive a 2010 Expedition, and this is the GPS map system that the SUV has. And as you can see, it shows Lake Mead as if it were actually there. Keep in mind, I'm driving a 2010 truck, so that means as recently as 2010, all of that was a massive lake. And there is no water to be found.
After years of consistent drought, St. Thomas began to re-emerge from the depths of the lake, and by 2005 was fully above the surface. It's about a mile hike from the trailhead to the town, where you are greeted with information panels along the way.
So upon reaching St. Thomas, you're greeted with some dead trees that used to be here before the lake filled up, and there is the first foundation of a building with its concrete slab and everything. Look at this old Budweiser can. This is a Budweiser can, I believe, from the 70s or 80s. I'm not too sure. Just gonna leave it there. The Boulder Dam Act of 1928, signed into law, President Calvin Coolidge authorized the construction of Boulder Dam. This meant the end for St. Thomas, as the rising waters of Lake Mead would eventually inundate the town. Residents began dismantling their homes and moving to nearby towns. By 1932, St. Thomas was becoming a ghost town. In June 1938, Hugh Lord lit his house on fire and left by boat as the water was lapping at his door. Based. Time to go to school. This was the old St. Thomas School. The stairs and everything are still here. And here is the foundation of the school. That's pretty crazy. Post office. I think this was the post office from what I read on the map. Pretty small post office. This was before Amazon deliveries, of course. Yeah, the hotel. Look at that, you could actually still see some of the bricks from the hotel. Mixed in with all the shells. Calvin Coolidge stayed in this hotel. Whoa. So the lady that lived here owned the hotel. What happened over here? I hope nobody's in there.
Lake Mead wouldn't be possible, of course, if it wasn't for the Hoover Dam. Built in the Great Depression 1930s, it's considered a monumental achievement in engineering and construction. It's about 30 minutes outside of Vegas and is an extremely popular tourist attraction. If you're in Vegas and have some spare time, I would definitely recommend paying it a visit. Depending on how lazy you are, you could pay for parking close to the dam. Or if you're like me and you like walking, there is free parking on the Arizona side, up on the hills. While you're here, one of the most striking things you will see is the sheer gravity of how low Lake Mead has fallen. The white line along the canyon walls is called the bathtub ring. It's an oxidized rock layer that has been underwater for long periods of time and now exposed. It's also a clear indication of where the water used to be. After 20 years of abysmal snowpacks in the Rocky Mountains, combined with California's gluttony and the growing populations of Las Vegas and Arizona, have rendered Lake Mead to a shadow of its former self. While walking towards the dam, you'll pass by one of the two massive drumgate spillways. Each spillway has the capacity to bypass around 200,000 cubic feet per second of water, or the equivalent of Niagara Falls. Sadly, they've only been used twice, once for testing in 1941 and in 1983 when there was a large flood along the Colorado River. You are basically free to roam around the crest of the dam and take in the sights. However, some areas are off limits, such as the intake towers. The Hoover Dam Museum is located on the Nevada side, and for a nominal fee, the Bureau of Reclamation offers tours down into the turbine hall.
And that's enough power for approximately 1.3 million homes. 56% of Hoover Dam's power.
This is the Keepers of the Colorado River Monument. Two massive Art Deco archangels pointing their wings to the stars, with the American flag symbolically in the middle. On the ground are plaques honoring all the states that the Colorado River and its tributaries flow through.
They died to make the desert bloom.
That is true. 96 men died during the construction of the Hoover Dam, and this memorial is dedicated to them. To the right is a monument for Elwood Mead, whom Lake Mead is named after. I shot this in January 2022, and the plaza is since undergoing renovation work, so it may or may not look different by the time you see it.
Oh, you're fixing it? Or restoring it?
That's the plan eventually, yeah.
The whole thing? All this? Dry for decades. It's true. Look at that. Someone's phone is down there.
Looming large over the gorge is the Mike O'Callahan Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge. Before 2010, the only way to cross between Arizona and Nevada on Highway 93 was over the dam crest of the Hoover Dam itself. The bridge was constructed from 2005 to 2010 and is named after two men: the legendary Pat Tillman, safety for the Arizona Cardinals turned Army Ranger, who was tragically killed in a friendly fire incident in Afghanistan in 2004, and Mike O'Callahan, a Korean War vet who was governor of Nevada in the 1970s. Access to the bridge is free, and it's a super popular place for photo shoots and to hang out. Unfortunately, you can't go far on the Arizona side, as a concrete wall with gum and graffiti is stopping you. One of the more famous hikes, or walks I should say, is the abandoned railroad trail just west of the Hoover Dam. Built in 1931, this route was used to haul heavy machinery and construction material to and from the dam construction site. After Hoover Dam was finished, the line was abandoned and later turned into a hiking trail in the 1990s.
A train hauled this raw material to an aggregate plant across the river, a few miles above the dam site. Here, the sand and gravel passed through various processes of screening, grading, and washing until it emerged as unexcelled aggregate. Then it was stockpiled according to sizes to await its trip to the dam site. This processed aggregate moved as called for in a steady flow over the railroad to two mixing plants, one in the canyon bottom and the other on the Nevada rim.
This walk will reward you with not only spectacular views of Lake Mead, but also a Martian-like landscape due to the basalts of the nearby extinct volcanoes. The highlight of this trail is of course the 5 tunnels blasted into the hills. Each of these tunnels, while different lengths, are 50 feet high and 20 feet wide. And if you look up, you'll likely see bats flying overhead. Keep in mind, this hike is extremely popular, so you may have to find parking on your own if none is available. If you are making your way north along Route 167, you will encounter a geologic marvel. Located in the Pinto Valley wilderness, these ancient Aztec sandstone mounds are known as redstone, and they are a reminder of the desert's past life as the floor of an ocean. Here there is a small half-mile loop that will take you through the redstone field. The many holes you see in the mounds are called apartments, and some are home to wildlife.
Sandstone, volcanic rock, limestone. That's all limestone, that's volcanic rock, and this is sandstone. Whoa. Off of the main highway, you will find Rogers Spring, a desert hot spring that flows into Lake Mead. While it may look inviting, do not enter this water, as there are parasites that lurk beneath.
Why are there springs here in the Nevada desert, one of the driest places on Earth? The answer is simple: fault lines. It is believed this water comes from snowmelt that seeps into the ground from the central Nevada mountains near Ely, Nevada, and Great Basin National Park. It runs south for 200 miles along a fault line before pumping out here. Don't make the mistake of early European travelers. Do not drink this water. The second large body of water within the park is Lake Mojave, a massive reservoir located just downstream from Lake Mead. That begs the question, why isn't the park called the Lake Mead and Lake Mojave National Recreation Area? Lake Mojave was formed by the creation of Davis Dam, the third major dam to be built along the lower Colorado River basin. The lake contains roughly 1 million acre-feet of water, and unlike Lake Mead, Lake Mojave's water levels remain relatively consistent throughout the year. Originally scheduled to be completed in 1947, World War II halted the construction of Davis Dam. After the war was over, construction resumed, and the Bureau of Reclamation commissioned Davis Dam in 1951.
To irrigators in this country and Mexico. Davis Dam generators interconnect with those at Hoover Dam upstream and those at Parker Dam downstream. This energy goes out over transmission lines of the Parker-Davis project to farms, homes, and factories. Much of this Colorado River energy pumps the farmers' irrigation and drainage water.
Unlike Hoover Dam, the Bureau of Reclamation doesn't give tours of Davis Dam, but there is a parking lot on its crest where you can take in the sights. Unfortunately, since 9/11, you can't drive across the dam, but you can walk or ride a bike over it. Looking downstream, you are rewarded with awesome views of Laughlin and Bullhead City. Like Lake Mead before it, Lake Mojave is open to boating and recreation. The most prominent marina on the lake is Catherine Landing, located just up the road from Bullhead on the Arizona side of the lake. Catherine Landing is a town in and of itself, and like other marinas in the Lake Mead NRA, it has accommodations. This includes a gas station, numerous launch ramps, a trailer park, and even a motel. Boating and fishing opportunities are abundant, and watercraft rentals are available here. However, always remember, Catherine Landing gets very crowded in the summer, so if you come during peak season, always plan ahead. Just north of Catherine Landing are multiple beaches and launch ramps, the first one being Arizona Telephone Cove, a large beach that's popular for parties. Due to high trade winds that are common in the area, Lake Mojave has become a popular spot for parasailing. I was lucky enough to capture these professionals on video. There is indeed another telephone cove, this one being just outside of Laughlin. By the way, why are they called telephone coves? I don't know. But anyway, in order to get to this one, you have to travel on this dirt road.
I'm not even in a four-wheel drive and I can do this just fine. So you don't need a four-wheel drive for this, but make sure you have good tires though.
The road itself is very scenic, where you are rewarded with spectacular views of the Spirit Mountain wilderness. Nevada Telephone Cove is a secluded beach on the western shore of Lake Mojave. It's open to camping, RV parking, and small boat launches.
Look at that little island out there. Probably swim to it, but not in wintertime though.
The beach is lined with trees, likely to provide shade during the relentlessly hot summer days. It also has a few pit toilets. It can get very crowded here in the summer, so if you come during peak season, make sure to plan ahead. But Nevada Telephone Cove is truly a desert paradise.
Look at that, man. That guy's living right there.
Right up the road from Telephone Cove, also located off the main Laughlin Highway, is the famous Grapevine Canyon, a National Historic Site. Don't be afraid of traversing this road, because I saw Teslas and other small cars, so you should be just fine. It's about a half-a-mile walk from the parking lot to Grapevine Canyon, home of petroglyphs dating back hundreds of years created by early Native American inhabitants. The glyphs can be found on both sides of the canyon, on the walls of the various rocks. Some of the glyphs are decipherable, while others are not. It's up to you to determine what they are.
That's a bighorn sheep right there. You see those all over the place around here. And this might be a rattlesnake. Do you have any idea what any of these mean?
That's what we were just saying. I wish I knew what.
So you could tell this guy is hunting a sheep.
Incredible, huh?
Oh yeah.
As of yet, nobody knows how old the petroglyphs are, or who even made them. Some estimates range 900 to 600 years ago, while others say they were made anywhere between 1600 and 1900. While it's not confirmed, it's possible they were created by the Mojave people, since they're the closest tribe to this area, and they still inhabit the California, Nevada, Arizona tri-state area. There is a hiking trail that proceeds up the narrow canyon. However, most of the petroglyphs are at the entrance. The canyon itself is a floodwash that flows into Lake Mojave, so it's not wise to be here during inclement weather.
Another snake.
The road that goes past Grapevine Canyon is called Christmas Tree Pass, and it leads to US 95 near Calnev Era, but first passing through the Spirit Mountain wilderness. Towering over the Spirit Mountain wilderness is Spirit Mountain itself. Known in the Mojave language as Ave Qua Ame, it is considered sacred by all of the surrounding Indian tribes, as they believe it gave their ancestors life. As one might expect, Christmas Tree Pass gets its namesake because of all of the trees and shrubs along the road being lined with Christmas decorations. The hike to the summit of the mountain is about 4 miles, with a strenuous elevation gain of 2,264 feet. Christmas Tree Pass is a rough road, so a big vehicle or a 4-wheel drive is recommended. On Lake Mojave's Nevada shore is Cottonwood Cove Marina, located just east of Searchlight. Like other marinas in the park, you will have to go through an entrance station, so get ready to pay or have your National Park Pass at the ready. If you are lucky, you may come across a mythical Mojave Desert tortoise. These turtles are only found in the Mojave Desert and in Southern California, as well as northern Mexico. Desert tortoises also exist east of the Colorado River, but scientists are debated on whether or not those tortoises are considered a subspecies or an entirely different species. Nonetheless, they are critically endangered and protected. They are also the state reptile of Nevada and California, and if you're lucky enough to see one, definitely take a picture or video, as they are rare and live most of their lives underground. They can also be found in nearby Mojave National Preserve and Joshua Tree National Park. Desert tortoises can also make their way onto paved roads, so always pay attention to the road in front of you while you're driving. Cottonwood Cove is similar to Catherine Landing and has several boat ramps and amenities. The name Cottonwood isn't a random choosing. During the mining years of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the banks of the Colorado were lined with cottonwood trees. Most of them were cut down and the wood used as fuel for steamships that ferried gold and silver up and down the river. Most of the remnants of mining activity in this area is now under Lake Mojave. Cottonwood is similar to Catherine Landing in that it has a camping area, a beach, a large launch ramp, and a hotel. Houseboat and jet ski rentals are also available here. One of the best places to hike in the Lake Mead National Recreation Area is the White Rock Canyon Arizona Hot Springs Trail Labyrinth. The trailhead parking lot is located 3.5 miles south of the Hoover Dam off of Highway 93 in Arizona. Keep your eyes peeled for it because it's easy to miss. The parking lot can fill up quickly, so try to arrive as early as you can. The most famous of these two trails is the 6-mile round-trip White Rock Canyon Loop that takes you to the banks of the Colorado River, passing through the famous Arizona Hot Springs. The other is the Liberty Bell Arch Trail. These trails are very strenuous, so always bring water with you. Right next to the parking lot is the old Highway 93 White Rock Canyon Bridge. Constructed in 1933 for access to the Hoover Dam, it was active until the mid-70s when a newer modern highway was built to make travel easier. Keep a lookout for signs, as they will guide you towards the correct trail you want to go. One of the interesting things about the Arizona Hot Springs Trail is its unique geology. Volcanic rocks that wouldn't look out of place in Hawaii scatter the landscape. This is due to the fact that many of these tall hills are extinct volcanic vents. During the Miocene, roughly 5 to 23 million years ago, the area that is now the Lake Mead NRA was home to several volcanoes, including Fortification Hill and the Hamblin-Cleopatra stratovolcano, the latter of which, over time, was split into 3 sections by fault lines. Many parts of the trail consist of floodwashes that carved out the canyons. These flash floods can be deadly and can easily wash a person away. Always check weather conditions and leave immediately if a storm is approaching.
Oh, damn! Haha. I got skills, bro. How do they expect that? And there I go again. Oh man. How do they expect people to get through this crap?
No matter what route you take, these hiking trails can be very strenuous, and it's really easy to get lost. Always check for footsteps on the ground, because I almost got lost out here like 3 or 4 times. After about 3 miles, you will finally reach the Colorado River at Black Canyon, a section of river just downstream from the Hoover Dam. Depending on the season, the water and current may be higher and stronger. During the summer, it is higher due to heavier releases along the river. During the winter, it is lower. This beach is considered a campsite and even has 2 pit bathrooms, so feel free to relax.
Oh, waterfall. Look at that.
Depending on the way you came, and or the way you decide to ascend back to the trailhead, you are likely to encounter the famous Arizona Hot Springs. Located in a narrow canyon, the Arizona Hot Spring is one of several series of springs within the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. It is a thermal spring, sprung from cracks in the canyon's walls and floors. Frequent visitors to the springs have built sandbag dams, allowing the warm water to pool behind them. The springs are very popular with locals. In order to get to Liberty Bell, you must watch for signs, as it's easy to get lost out here. The trail leading to Liberty Bell is easier and shorter. About halfway there is an abandoned World War II magnesium mine. This mine is intact and even still has its rails in the shaft. But of course, do not enter any abandoned mine. After another several minutes of walking, you will encounter the amazing Liberty Bell Formation, its name given due to its resemblance to a bell. Made of limestone, Liberty Bell Arch took millions of years to form and was likely created in a manner similar to the arches found in Arches National Park.
So at one point, these rocks were underneath the ocean. And similar to this, because this whole area was, because of plate movements and stuff, this whole area was underneath the ocean. And I was watching this documentary about the Grand Canyon, and they landed in a helicopter in some highly isolated place of the Grand Canyon, and they found like fossils of seashells and fossils of fish, from the ocean. Like, how in the heck could stuff from the ocean end up all the way out here?
This is the Gold Strike Canyon and Nevada Hot Springs trailhead. Located just off I-93 close to the Hoover Dam, it's similar to the Arizona Hot Springs Trail, except it's on the Nevada side, and it's also more strenuous. There are also ropes that you have to use to pass certain obstacles on your way down to the river. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do this hike, even though I really wanted to. Maybe someday I'll come back and make a whole video about it. But just like most trails in the NRA, it's closed in the summer months due to heat. The only active marina on Lake Mead's Arizona side is Temple Bar, about 25 miles east of the Hoover Dam. Temple Bar Marina gets its name from the Temple Bar Butte, a tall formation that protrudes from the opposite side of the lake from where the marina is located. According to legend, it gets its name due to its resemblance to a building, and early explorers on the Colorado River used it as a waypoint marker.
still some people out here. This is Temple Bar Marina.
Temple Bar is similar to the other marinas along Lake Mead and Lake Mojave. It has living areas, bathrooms, trailers, picnic areas, and other commodities. But one thing in particular here that's quite damning is the low water levels. Pun intended, pun non intended, whatever.
This is incredible. Launch ramp closed. All over Temple Bar Marina, you'll find shells all over the place. There's just a sign that this was once deep underwater. And there's the marina all the way down there. No boat launches, however. The boat launch ramp is completely useless.
During the making of this video, I tried my hardest to not make it about the doom and gloom of Lake Mead's low water levels, but when you come to places like Temple Bar, it's hard to not notice the elephant in the room. Out of all the marinas I visited in the NRA, this one is the most depressing. Probably the most remote attraction of Lake Mead is Greg's Hideout. It is a secluded, yet infamous cove along Virgin Canyon in the far reaches of the lake. However, in order to get to this awesome place by car, you must first take the northbound turn on Dolan Springs Road next to the Chevron. The distance from Chevron to Greg's Hideout is about 17 miles, and the road to get there is bumpy, gravelly, and rocky, so four-wheel drive is recommended, but not required, though I would definitely not take a small car or small sedan out here. As laid back as it is, locals do go off-roading, so you're not entirely alone. The road is actually very scenic, and you are surrounded by the flora and fauna of the Mojave Desert. This is the only part of Arizona in which the Mojave extends into.
This is about as far as I'm gonna go.
Even at Greg's Hideout, low water levels have left their mark pretty clearly, and launching a boat here has become more difficult.
These big boulders that were once underwater. This is a very common sight here at Lake Mead. Are shells. Shells everywhere. Painful reminder of what once was. Even at Greg's Hideout, you can see the bathtub ring way down up there. Austin Reed. Oh man, that sucks.
Austin Reed was an 18-year-old young man from Kingman who sadly went missing and wound up dead out here in the summer of 2017. Sadly, he's not the only one to die in and around Greg's Hideout. In 2015, a couple were found dead in their van, likely caused by the unforgiving Arizona summer heat. Greg's Hideout does not have a communicator, and many people don't have cell service, so if an accident happens, you could be on your own. But if you're careful and responsible, you should be just fine.
How's it going, man?
As you continue eastward towards Pierce Ferry, you'll encounter more Joshua trees. Also known as the yucca tree, Joshuas are only found in the legendary Mojave Desert, and this is the only part of Arizona that their range extends into. In fact, the small town of Meadview is surrounded by a Joshua tree forest.
Oh, we got a coyote over here. There he goes, there he goes. Where is he? Come here, boy. What are you doing? Oh, don't run away. Oh, man.
Not sure if my camera picked it up, but there was a small pack of coyotes in the road that darted into the bushes as soon as they saw me. Coyotes are all over the place in the Lake Mead NRA, and they have a fight or flight instinct, and they usually choose flight. However, if they're diseased or if they're in a large enough pack, they might not. Always be aware of your surroundings, and if you have a dog, always keep him on a leash. Continuing even further east to Pierce Ferry, the asphalt road will turn into a dirt road. Don't be intimidated. It is a little bumpy, but a four-wheel drive isn't required. In the 1930s and early 1940s, Pierce Ferry was home to a civilian conservation corps camp whose main job it was to rescue Native American artifacts from the rising waters of Lake Mead. They also built a seismograph station to study earthquakes and seismic activity, as well as to measure how much Lake Mead weighed, which was a lot. The seismograph station was built in 1940, but abandoned shortly afterwards. Up on the small mesa just to the north, you'll see Pierce Ferry's abandoned power station and the geology station itself, which has since become the home of a monster, I'm guessing. There were also plans at one point to turn Pierce Ferry into a river resort, but those plans were scrapped long ago and unlikely to happen anytime soon due to Lake Mead's super low water levels. Evidence of the Conservation Corps' presence here remain, along with this cool abandoned cave that was once used to store dynamite.
We are all the way over here, right along the border with Grand Canyon National Park. And there is an emergency superluminal communications device. Oh, look at this. Hello? Anybody home? Anybody home? There doesn't seem to be anyone there.
Continuing even further past the Pierce Ferry campground will take you to the Pierce Ferry site itself. When Lake Mead began to drop in the early 2000s, the National Park Service extended the road another mile. As recently as 25 years ago, this road was completely underwater.
This was once a bay of Lake Mead at one point. Now it's a whole lot of nothing. How are you?
This is the end of Dolan Springs Road, and the most easterly point of the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. Prior to the filling of Lake Mead, one would have to cross the river the old-fashioned way, either by boat or by walking across when the river dries to a trickle in the late summer. This applied to Native Americans as well as early European settlers. Most of them were Mormons from Utah. The Colorado crossing at Pierce Ferry was the original site of a ferry service that once transported people, goods, and livestock from Utah to towns and farms in Arizona. In 1876, Harrison Pierce, a Mormon pioneer whom Pierce Ferry is named after, built and operated the ferry on the opposite shore from this spot. The ferry and crossing operated from 1877 until 1883 when it was abandoned. The original structures of the ferry were washed away by sediment or submerged when Lake Mead was filled in the late 1930s. Overall, there were 8 known crossings of the river that were inundated by Lake Mead. all of which were built by Mormons to travel to and from Arizona. Pierce Ferry Crossing puts you up against the boundaries of Grand Canyon National Park, as this is only a few miles away from where the Colorado River exits the Grand Canyon and flows southwestward into Lake Mead. Lower water levels, along with shifting sediments, have created the Pierce Ferry Rapids just a half-mile west. This area has become a legendary spot for kayaking, rafting, or those who want to take their boat up the Grand Canyon.
With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video that I made about Lake Mead. It took me about 2.5 months to make. It was fun. I loved every minute of it. I am all the way on the border with Grand Canyon National Park. As you can see, this is Pierce Ferry, right where the Colorado River exits the Grand Canyon and flows downstream into Lake Mead. Grand Canyon Ferrisant, or however you pronounce it, National Monument is over here. So right here in this area is where 3 national parks technically border each other. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Hit the like button and feel free to comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching.